the biggest independent wrestling show ever. Or as I personally will call it, the Infinity War event of wrestling. Where you see, All In started off of a tweet. Here's the story. Now, this is also going to detail a bunch of the road to All In, because I feel like this is an important discussion. In May of 2017, a fan had asked Wrestling Observer newsletter journalist Dave Meltzer on Twitter if Ring of Honor could sell 10,000 tickets. Meltzer responded, "Not anytime soon." Cody took Meltzer's remark as a challenge and responded, "I'll take that bet, Dave." Eventually, this kickstarted the idea of what was originally going to be a Ring of Honor show to becoming a self-funded event by Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks. It was later announced that when this was happening, that Kenny Omega, Brady Rhodes, and actor Stephen Amell would be showing up at the show. Stephen Amell, the Green Arrow. On December 31st, Cody and the Young Bucks announced that on Being the Elite that they were looking at different venues to hold this event. It was later reported by Pro Wrestling Insider that the event was set to be held in Chicago. Then on January 12th, in the new year, it was announced that the event would take place on September 1st, which happened. And on March 5th, All In's venue was revealed to be the Sears Center, located in the Chicago suburb of Hoffman Estates, Illinois. Over the future weeks and months, in fact, even up to 24 hours before the show, they would get a whole bunch of talent to come in. Pentagon Jr., Rey Fenix, Kazuchika Okada. There was going to be one female wrestler showing up, but then she signed with WWE. Tessa Blackard, I'm pretty sure I pronounced that wrong. Jay Lethal, Chelsea Green, Marty Scurll, Hangman Adam Page. And it would just get bigger and bigger and bigger. Because then, additionally, it was announced to coincide the event, Curran Thompson's would hold StarCast, a fan convention which would feature numerous personalities, podcasters, such as Jeff Jarrett, Eric Bischoff, Bruce Picard, Diamond Dallas Page, Macaulay Culkin, and even CM Punk was there. And everyone was hoping that CM Punk would go all in. But Punk had said that he wasn't interested in it. He's kind of lost that passion to be in the wrestling ring. Thanks, Vince! You sucked out his passion. Why do people still work for you? And during a press conference for All In, it was announced that Rey Mysterio, hooray! And NWA World Heavyweight Champion Nick Aldis, who I didn't know who he was before until I looked it up. Yeah, he was Magnus from Impact Wrestling when it was at his worst point. And he is NWA World Heavyweight Champion. I had forgotten NWA was still around. I thought it went out of business some time ago. But no, it turns out, nope, they're still kicking. And he's the World Heavyweight Champion. So then, a lot of people around this time were thinking, like, okay, so how is this going to go? Like, are we going to get how are they going to make this show? Like, obviously, Vince and McMahon and WWE will not stand for this. They can't stand the idea of another company rising to the top. Or another wrestling event that's not them. Because the mere idea of competition scares Vince nowadays. Instead, welcomes him. So, yeah, when that happened, everyone feared that All In would probably get sabotaged by Vince McMahon and his endless check. And sure enough, they tried. They tried to get at least almost everybody they could, or at least pay them off at best. They only got one, and that was the lady Denora Pizarro. I'm pretty sure I pronounced that wrong. Yeah, and no one really bashed her for going to WWE. They hadn't planned everything out, and she did express that she did wish she could go all in, but pretty much WWE is a dictatorship and whatnot, so they can't do that. So then, tickets were put on sale and sold out in less than 30 minutes, despite Cody and the Young Bucks only announcing one match. What was that match? Well, it was going to be Marty Scurll versus Kazuchika Okada. Eventually, more wrestlers would start showing up, like MGF, Madison Rain, Kota Ibushi, SoCal Uncensored, aka Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazara, and Scorpio Sky, Best Friends, Chuck Taylor and Trent Barnett, the Briscoe Brothers, and during this time, Cody and the Young Bucks started a YouTube series called All Us, chronicling the lead up to the event, which I had all watched. I had watched this and the 10 Pounds for Gold series that documented this event. And on July 13th, it was announced that Alyssa Atao, Bobby Cruz, Don Callis, Excalibur, and Rico Bo, Justin Roberts, and Sean Mooney would serve as All In's broadcast team, with Timmy Baltimore being announced as commentator on August 27th. And then Bandito was announced for the show on July 25th. On August 6th, it was announced that on Being the Elite, the All In's main card would be broadcast on pay-per-view and Fight TV, including Honor Card, and also showing up on New Japan World. And everyone was glad that All In was going to be broadcast. Like, everyone was worried that All In wasn't going to get broadcasted because, well, they would have to try, because basically, you're basically saying that the only people that mainstream audiences would probably know and mainstream networks would probably know is Cody, and they'll just think he's the guy that quit. And then you have the Young Bucks, and then okay, let's put them on the network. Yeah, and here's the thing. If Vince had not creatively bankrupted WWE, I don't know if this show would have sold out. It likely would, but there would be that reasonable doubt that if WWE wasn't creatively bankrupted at this point, because everything was getting so bad there, creativity-wise, money-wise, they're guaranteed to live. But fans were craving for something new, something different. Like, oh my God, Vince, try. Just try. But Vince was stubborn in doing that idea because that scares him. So they just said, you know what, fine. I'll take my money and I'll go all in. And yeah, I bet a lot of people were happy when it was announced that All In was going to be broadcasted after the tickets sold out. And then it was announced that there would be a pre-show called 0 Hour airing on WGN America at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And later that day, it was announced that the event's main card would also be broadcasted on our card. Additionally, Jordine Grace, Moose, Rocky Romero, Cole Cabana, and Ethan Page were announced for the show. And from August 15th to 18th, Brian Cage, Billy Gunn, Jimmy Jacobs, Marco Stunt were announced. And then Brian Cutler was announced. Punishment Martinez was announced. It was announced that, and then Austin Gunn, the son of Billy Gunn, who I never heard of before, was announced for the show. And then on September 1st, just before the show, Tim Storm was announced for the show. Yeah. So, really think about this. All these people are from other wrestling companies. Here's the best way to describe it. Remember how I say this is like the Infinity War of wrestling event? Because you don't just have the Bullet Club involved. You have Ring of Honor, Impact Wrestling, Lucha Libre Wrestling Company, New Japan Pro Wrestling, AAA, and the National Wrestling Alliance all coming together and saying, let's do this. Let's go all in. And that should interest you. So, the matches that were announced for the show would be SoCal Uncensored, Frankie Kazarian, and Scorpio Sky facing the Briscoe Brothers, the Over the Budget Battle Royale, Matt Cross versus MGF, Christopher Daniels versus Stephen Amell, Tessa Blanchard versus Chelsea Green, Madison Rain, and Britt Baker, who is Adam Cole's girlfriend. Then it would be announced that Cody Rhodes would take on Nick Aldis for the NWA Heavyweight Championship. Hangman Adam Page would go on to fight Joey Janelle. Jay Lethal would face whoever wins the Over the Budget Battle Royale. Kenny Omega versus Pentagon Jr., Kazuchika Okada versus Marty Scurll. The Golden Elite, consisting of the Young Bucks and Kota Ibushi, versus Rey Mysterio, Rey Fenix, and Bandido. So, yeah, this is the makings of a very, very interesting card. Now I saw the videos that were building up to the show, and oh my god, this was so, like, I'm feeling passion. I'm feeling passion from these people. Like, they did it. Like, you might as well, I'm surprised no one went out and said, this is the greatest moment of our lives. We did it! Like Mick Foley did when he won the WWE Championship. So, let's get to these build-ups and whatnot. Okay, what have I told you that one of the things was on being the elite? So, yeah. How do I explain this? The Adam Page match he had with Joey Janelle starts off with Joey Ryan being murdered on Being the Elite by a mysterious assailant in a Japanese hotel room. On June 4th, Japanese police arrested Arrow star Stephen Amell for Ryan's murder. It was revealed that Christopher Daniels had framed Amell for the murder. And on August 6th, on Being the Elite, it was announced that Amell, who had been recently released from prison, would face Daniels at All In. Man, Green Arrow's not really doing well with prison life. Especially since he's going back to prison soon in Arrow season 7, I think. I haven't watched the show. Yes, shocking. And on August 27th of Being the Elite, Daniels and Amell would have their final confrontation before the event, with Amell warning that he would put him through a table just like he did during their debut Ring of Honor. Yes, one of the storylines involves Joey Ryan being murdered. Yeah, here's the other thing about who Joey Ryan is. How do I explain this? I had never heard of this guy until he did something with his privates in the ring and was able to flip people with it. I will get back to him in a moment later on. Also, in one of the documentary episodes I was watching, I even made a playlist about called The Road to All In, documenting 31 videos of the show that built up to it, as much as I could find. And, yeah, one of the motives of Christopher Daniels wanting to go after Stephen Amell is because Christopher Daniels feels like you shouldn't be in this ring. So don't say that anyone can do it. It's not easy and whatnot. And Stephen Amell was apparently the arrogant character that basically says, hey, I could do that. Like it was the easiest thing in the world. And Christopher Daniels, who's been in this business for so long, took offense to that. And I was like, wait, a legitimate motivation? We are supposed to not like you, right, Daniels? Because you do have a legitimately good reason. And I wouldn't be surprised if you generally did think that these young people coming in and saying that I can do what you do and acting all smug and arrogant. Anyways, so when it was announced that when Billy Corgan, the NWA president, announced that Nick Aldis would defend the NWA World Heavyweight Championship against Cody, if Cody would win this match, he and his father Dusty Rhodes would become the first ever father-son duo to win the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, which makes Dusty Rhodes' death happening that day so more depressing, because this would have been awesome if we got that moment with his father coming into the ring and celebrating with him, and they both hold up the NWA World Heavyweight Championship together. Yeah. And during Ring of Honor's Honor United tour in London of May 27th, it was announced that if Cody was able to reclaim the ROH World Championship before All In, that the match would become a winner-takes-all mode for both the NWA and Ring of Honor championships. However, Cody would fail on two different occasions. One would be at Best in the World, and another would be the following episode. Then afterwards, Cody found a way to convince Nick by basically saying, "Look, I'll give you the ring, and basically I saw this. It was an awesome angle. but I don't know if I could put it to words correctly. He managed to convince Nick, aka Magnus, to basically put the title on the line. And Cody shows this emotional speech where he says he's not just he basically his father, his family legacy to carry on this class tradition that he and his family held with Dusty Rhodes and now him. He wants to do it, and I was all for that. And yeah, that was awesome. On June 8th at WrestlePro event, Madison Rayne and MJF defeated Bernard the Business Pair and Flip Gordon, I'll get to him in a moment, to qualify for that match, to qualify for All In. However, Flip Gordon, desperate as he was, did not get the chance. And yeah. And then Marty Scurll began training with Nick to become a heavyweight on Being the Elite in preparation of his match against Okada. Over the subsequent episodes of Being the Elite, multiple wrestlers would dismiss Scurll's chances of defeating Okada, including the Young Bucks, Jack Swagger, Rey Mysterio, Zack Sabre Jr., and Okada himself. And then on the 27th, on Being the Elite, Scurll responded to all doubts and stating that he would defeat Okada at the event. Also, yeah, you want to know... Oh boy, how do I say this? On Being the Elite, Joey Janelle greeted Matt Jackson and Marty Scurll, immediately pissing off Jackson. And on July 23rd, it was announced that Joey Janelle would face Hangman Adam Page. And later that day on Twitter, Page would send a warning to Janelle and proclaim himself a Joey killer. On August 12th of Being the Elite, Page had a nightmare with his cowboy boots, telling him that he would kill another Joey, referring to Joey Janelle. And then, on Being the Elite, Janelle would provoke Page during an autograph session, and then they would make their match a Chicago street fight. Yeah, you want to know what I mean by another Joey? Yeah, it's revealed that he killed Joey Ryan. Congrats! I'm pretty sure Jim Cornette was happy when that happened. Oh, man. And really, the only build-up between Team Mysterio versus Golden Elite was that Mysterio and actor Theo Rossi would mock the Young Bucks. Yeah. And SoCal Uncensored would have a matchup to go ahead and basically say, we're going to train, we're going to get ready. Basically, they did a training montage on the Being the Elite channel that was over 10 minutes long, I think. I never got a chance to watch it because All In would start afterward before I could get the chance. And then Kenny Omega, when he was told he was going to face Pentagon Jr., said, the insane guy from Impact? Recognizing other companies. Something Vince hates with a fiery passion. And now there was one storyline that was the most interesting, for me at least. Flip Gordon. I had no idea who this guy was. I assumed Flip Gordon was, like, basically Cheeseburger. I am still trying to process that. So, yeah, I don't feel like explaining about Cheeseburger because that name is just... Why? I don't get it. I really don't get that name. So Flip Gordon is basically a pro wrestler who's very young. He's actually 26 years old. I didn't know much about him. Like, he was on some of the Being the Elite episodes and tried to go ahead and fix the show when Cody Rhodes basically effectively destroyed it when he got the Elite to disband temporarily at the Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor event. Yikes. And yeah, Flip Gordon basically made this challenge that he would try and get himself all in. And okay, here's the thing. He tried everything. He tried fighting Cody. He tried fighting He tried fighting all these wrestlers. He even challenged the NWA World Heavyweight Champion Nick Aldis to that match for the title, that if he wins, Flip Gordon would get booked to All In because he would be the NWA Champion. Flip Gordon did not win. And after the match, Cody Rhodes helped Gordon to his feet and teased booking him for All In event before Bully Ray assaulted him with a low blow. So, yeah, that's the key storyline with Flip Gordon. And that's pretty much it for this massive build-up. And I even got to the matches and we're already past the 20 minutes and 30-second mark. Yeah, so let's go into All In 0 Hour, which consisted of 2 matches. SoCal Uncensored versus the Briscoe Brothers and the Over-the-Budget Battle Royale, or Over-Budget Battle Royale, to determine the number 1 contender for the ROH World Championship. So, yeah, starting off the show, Cody and the Young Bucks kicked things off with a little pyro, introduced Warrior Animal on a motorcycle, and then they had pro wrestling tees hand out to some merchant to the crowd, which basically involves firing them and basically joking about, hey, every show has to do this, right? Dance. And yeah. So SoCal Uncensored came out. Kazera and Scorpio Sky came out wearing some Rocky-inspired gear. Like Scorpio Sky dressed it like Apollo Creed, while Kazera got himself a Rocky-inspired robe. And this match was fine, just fine. The Briscoes, okay, I keep thinking okay, so are they going to transform into the Usos? Because, yeah, that's the vibe I keep getting whenever I see them. It's like reminding me of the Usos, but much, much older and grittier and gruff. And, yeah, this match was fine. A fine opening to the show. This was broadcast on WGN America. And ultimately, this match would go crazily, I believe this match was 12 minutes long, and SoCal Uncensored would get this victory. And, yeah, a lot of stuff was going on this show. They're basically showing that they were celebrating wrestling and celebrating this pride they had. Like, we did it! We got here! We made it! We did it! We're in the big leagues now! We don't need WWE to show we can make it. So, yeah, and yeah, there was occasional pro wrestling tees commercials, which were funny. And we even got a backstage interview with Kenny Omega talking with Alyssa Atau. He cuts a brief promo about Pentagon Jr. and him putting on a match for the ages. Then we get the Over the Budget Battle Royale, and really we see Moose, Brian Cage, Billy Gunn, Jimmy Jacobs. Let's see who was on there. Like I said, Moose, we got Rocky Romero, Cole Cabana, Ethan Page, Brian Cage, Billy Gunn, Jimmy Jacobs, Marco Stunt, Brandon Cutler, Punishment Martinez, Austin Gunn, The Hurricane, Tommy Dreamer, Cheeseburger, Chuck Taylor, and Trent Bernetta. Yeah, and yeah, one of the people in here was a woman. So yeah, let's add intergender wrestling to this. That's gonna make it more interesting if she was to win this match. Yeah, I was actually kind of either rooting for Jimmy Jacobs or this woman to win because I kind of wanted to see an intergender match, and also I wanted to see Jimmy Jacobs get to the pedestal once again because Age of the Fall. Yeah, and this was probably one of my favorite battle royales in a long time. Normally the wrestlers actually, got out of the ring, brawled all over the ring, charged into the ring again, got crazy, brought in weapons, got chaotic, and I'm just thinking, yeah, this is kind of awesome. And one of the highlights, Jimmy Jacobs was wearing a woman's clothing, so yeah, he's currently going through a crazy gimmick. Can we please get to Age of the Fall attitude mode? I'm just kidding. But yeah, Jimmy Jacobs, he was funny. And then he did something that I was like, oh, Jimmy Jacobs. Next, you're going to want to go in and walk around like a certain senile guy who fired you over a pitcher. Yeah, this guy mocked John Cena's five-knuckle shuffle, then tried to do the pedigree, and then Billy Gunn got pissed off and then tossed him out of the ring. And he didn't say the names, but they acknowledged that they existed because they can't say the names for various reasons, but they acknowledged they existed. You know, something that Vince doesn't like to do a lot. So, yeah. Billy Gunn, and the commentators even referenced, like, hey, Billy Gunn's friends with that guy when Jimmy Jacobs went to do Triple H's pedigree. And I'm just thinking, oh, man. Oh, man. So, yeah. Punishment Martinez was great. I honestly thought he could have also won. But then, right when this match was going to start, put this masked man through a table, and I was just wondering, who is that guy? And then, as the match went on, we had Cage, Grace, Gunn, and Bully Ray, and just before... but then after Bully Ray tosses Colt Cabana out, and Bully Ray thinks he's won, the masked wrestler comes in and nails Bully with a super kick and eliminates Bully Ray, and only to reveal that it's Flip Gordon. He's all in. Yay! He gets a test out with Jay Lethal later in the night. So that was going to be interesting. I was kind of rooting for Flip Gordon throughout, because I kind of wanted him to get this show, to get on the show. So there we get our opening matchup with after a patriotism Star Spangled Banner song from, I don't know what her name was. I didn't even know who it was. We get Matt Cross versus Maxwell Jacob Friedman, and I was generally impressed. I didn't know who these people were. Like, I wanted to look up who the heck Matt Cross was. Turns out he's on Lucha Underground. He actually was in WWE back in 2010 to 2011, and he was on Tough Enough and was eliminated. Yeah. In the second week. Oh boy. So anyways, as that was going on, we got this new guy. They even did an episode of the documentary around this guy and explained that Cody wanted to not just build on the future, build on the present and kind of celebrate the past, but also bring up about future talent. So I thought, okay, that's kind of a good idea. This match was pretty short, 9 minutes. It actually is the shortest match out of everything on the show. The rest of the show is either in the 10s or the 20s. One nearly going to 30. So, yeah, that should say something about how this match is going to go. In fact, the Battle Royale lasted 17 minutes. So, yeah. Matt Cross would defeat MJF in this matchup, and I thought Maxwell actually did good. I thought he has a promising promising goal in the wrestling industry, but yeah, the fact Cody says we got this guy because we wanted to see if he can rise up to the occasion, try to show himself to the world. I was all for that. He impressed me a bit. I would have been interested to see more of him, but yeah, we're kind of on a time limit when it comes to a tryout show, basically, in some people's perspective. Especially, this is on pay-per-view as well on the cable networks. And yeah, okay. So, Matt Cross got his victory against MJF. So, yeah, also, by that extension, Lucha Underground is also involved in this event. even though they don't mention it because Matt Cross plays a different character on Lucha Underground, but you could say Lucha Underground had a role in this. Now we get to Christopher Daniels versus Stephen Amell. Now, I knew for, like, a while that, yeah. Okay, but before I get to that, Sheen Mooney is backstage for an interview with NWA World Champion Magnus, Nick Aldis. He talks about what a pleasure it is to be interviewed by one of the greats and says there's a reason the show has so much buzz and is all about the 10 pounds of gold and whatnot. How Cody wants to place his etch in history and take his first step towards immortality. So, yeah, and before we get the Christopher Daniels versus Stephen Amell match, one of the referees of this show that was announced was Jerry Lynn, a former wrestler who recently retired a few years back. His most famous matches are the ones with RVD. So, yeah, Stephen Amell, I had a feeling Stephen Amell wasn't going to do much bumps. I thought it wasn't going to happen. But I was generally surprised. Like, this was clearly, like, completely 100% staged. Like, they were trying their damnedest so that they could showcase something, but not, risk injuring a TV actor. But, yeah, Stephen Amell actually impressed me. Like, he was more showcased and whatnot. And yeah, he doesn't. If he wants to give up the TV business, he can do well in wrestling probably. Like, he has this. He's only been like only less than single-digit matches, and one of them was a tag team match. So this was his first singles match. Wait, this is his third match, I think. And yeah, it's just really crazy. Like, there's a table, Jerry Lynn gets involved to an extent, and yeah, like, Jerry Lynn wants a definitive ending to this match, much to Christopher Daniels' hatred. And yeah, Stephen Amell almost got the victory, but nope, he couldn't. And I was not surprised. Part of me was a little surprised, but at the same time not, when I saw when Christopher Daniels beat Stephen Amell. Why? Because a guy who's just only had 3 matches and is an actor and being portrayed as someone who could beat a veteran like Christopher Daniels, who can still go. Yeah, Vince would probably want to do that. Not these guys. They're actually, thinking with their heads. So Stephen Amell offers a handshake post-match, and Daniels accepts it before raising his hand, and they pose on the turnbuckles together, showing that this is more of a celebration event than actual fuck WWE, even though I would have loved it if they did that. And then we get, quite honestly, I know people are not going to claim this is the greatest moment in history, but I loved when Tennille Dashwood, aka Emma, and Mandy Leon joined the commentary booth for the Fatal 4-Way Women's match. The reason why I say that is because the commentators, the male commentators, or anyone else, didn't treat it like a big deal. It was like, oh, hey women, you want to join? We got Tennille Dashwood and we got Mandy Leon joining us for commentary and whatnot. Like, they didn't treat it like a uber historical moment. We made history. No, they treated it more like a, oh, hey, we got a new guest coming on to join us for the show. Like, actual equals, instead of overblowing it like it was the most godly moment in the history of everything. So, yeah. This is where the situation for Vince falls flat again. Like, he would have played it up, saying this was a historical moment. We got 2 female commentators joining alongside the men because it is a historical moment, and we're going to aggrandize them like they're goddesses instead of, treating them like equals. Because that is just stupid. What, you think we're going to do? We're going to do equality to an extent? No. We're just going to go ahead and, treat them like they're superior people. Even though they want to be treated as equals. Except some. And I don't feel like going more into the whole feminazi and feminism problem going on in the world. So, Britt Baker came out to Adam Cole's old Ring of Honor theme song. love, very, 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 very compassionate love. Chelsea Green. I'm sure you know who Chelsea Green is, but if you don't, allow me to give you a reminder. She took part in a claiming she was having an affair with Brian angle. Boo! And then she reappeared in WWE as the contestant for the sixth season, as part of the relaunch Tough Enough. Then in 2018, Chelsea also took part in the WWE tryouts for Robbie E, Roy Gulak, La Rose, whatever, and Blaster McMassive. I'm not going into that name. Anyways. So yeah, and she's also dating Zack Ryder. So we got a moment where she goes ahead and does Zack Ryder's finishing move of the bro kick thing. So yeah, considering how popular she's gotten, and she's trying to be like Rosemary and Nikki Cross with the makeup and the crazy attitude. Yeah, I kind of want to see those three now fight each other, then tag team together in a 6-woman tag team division, and then kick ass. It would be phenomenal. So, yeah, this was the only women's match on the show, and they didn't treat it like a grandizing moment. Like, it was like, hey, we got women on the show. Okay. Like, they're gonna be treated just as great as the men. We're gonna keep them. We're gonna keep treat them as equals. They can hang with us. We're not gonna blow it up to proportions like it was the greatest thing in history of man. Since, yeah, those history moments were destroyed already because it's already happened before. But Vince is never gonna acknowledge that key component. You know, like the first women's pay-per-view happening in the 90s, TNA doing it regularly with their knockout division, and Vince doesn't want to talk about that because that would mean he would have to recognize another company's existence on that. So, yeah. So, moving on, back to this Fatal 4-Way women's match. Yeah, here's the thing. Yeah. This match ended with a botch. You see, Tessa Blanchard, okay, Tessa wins by pinfall with a hammerlock DDT on Chelsea Green, but there was a moment where it looked like they weren't supposed to end the match that quick, or something else happened. Like, the commentators were confused for a moment, and then they got back into it. So, yeah. But moving on from that part, this was actually pretty awesome, and it was pretty amazing and not overblown out of proportion. Like, it was just 4 women coming in, showcasing their skills, and celebrating this industry. Not just women's wrestling, just like the entire industry. And, yeah, I would have actually loved it if Britt Baker actually since she came out with Adam Cole's theme, I was hoping she would win, if nothing else than to do Adam Cole's pose and hear the people chant, Britt Baker, baby! In honor of Adam Cole, baby! Because that would actually be kind of freaking awesome. But, yeah, I literally enjoyed this match. It was a really great match. The botch ending, yeah, that should have been addressed, but okay. And then we get this very, very confusing thing. We got Chico El Luchador and, oh gosh, fat ass Masa shown seated in the front row, and I was like, who are these people? And really, the latter is that name? That's something I would see from the Attitude Era. So yeah, then we get a really confusing thing. Cody Rhodes versus Nick Magnus Aldis for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship in the middle of the show. What? Yeah, this happened in the middle of the show, and they treat it like it was a big fight feel, which it was. We get basically this big boxing match in a movie where you see the two teams and their entourage going ahead, and yeah, it was pretty crazy. Yeah, it was pretty crazy where you saw all these people come out and basically come in and say, let's celebrate and let's do this. But, okay, so this is what I found out. Okay, so who was the entourage with Cody Rhodes and Nick Aldis? We got Cody Rhodes' wife, his dog, surprisingly, Diamond Dallas Page, Glacier, and Tommy Dreamer. It would have been awesome if Goldust was there, but he's contractually obligated by Vince not to show up. That's my interpretation. Now, I'm pretty sure someone's going to be asking, who the hell is Glacier? Yeah, he's that wrestler who who had a long delayed debut in WCW because the NWO was taking so much focus. Yeah, that's basically what he's best known for. Meanwhile, Nick goes ahead and is basically with his entourage, consisting of Tim Storm, Sean Daivari, that guy who was with Muhammad Hassan, and then the political and the basically Islamophobic idiots of the world at the time wrecked that career. And luckily Muhammad Hassan is now trying to get back into things. And also Samuel Saw. Oh, we also got a surprising guest, Jeff Jarrett. What? But he's a Hall of Famer. He's trying to build up good relationships with Vince. Why would he ruin that moment? Oh, wait, because Jeff Jarrett's not stupid. And he's not under contract. So, yeah. And the referee for this match was Earl Hebner. And I felt like, yeah, it's fitting that Earl Hebner does this moment. So Cody Rhodes and Nick Aldis, this match was very WWE-esque. It felt very WWE-esque. Like, you even got that moment where it felt like Cody was going to be escorted out because of injury. And then you got Sean Daivari coming at ringside. And DDP giving him the diamond cutter. And yeah, and Cody Rhodes is busted up and wearing the Crimson Mask. And here's the thing. Dusty Rhodes won his NWA title with a busted head open. And it was covering the front of his hair. Yeah, there's a reason why Cody probably did the whole dyeing his hair yellow again. Because he wanted to really emulate his father on this moment. So, yeah. This was a very, very WWE-esque match. I think it might have been because Magnus, although he's NWA champion, he's just not as well diverse in the ring as Cody. I don't know. The only match I saw Magnus ever was between him and AJ Styles for the TNA unification match. And that sucked. In various ways. I don't want to go into that. And I will never want to talk about it ever again. So, yeah. And, yeah. Okay, so this match gets crazier and crazier. Like, we even get a diving elbow drop and Cody's wife takes the fall for him. She gets smashed by an elbow drop because she wants to protect her husband, and Nick is like shocked at what happened, and yet the commentators are bashing him, and the audience is condemning him for something that was not at all in his intentions, and he didn't even know. And then we get a slugging out moment, and then we get this emotional moment. Cody Rhodes wins by pinfall, winning the NWA World Heavyweight Championship that his father held 39 years ago. And it was such an emotional moment, and yeah, it was so awesome. It was like, a lot of people were saying they were crying. It was emotional. Like, Cody just now joined with his father as the first ever father-son duo to win the NWA Championship. And that's saying something. And now it's going to be very interesting where Cody takes the NWA title to. He's basically in every show, basically, except for Impact. I would love to see, really would love to see if he takes this really far. Then we get into a comedic match of craziness. Hangman Page, right before his match, tries to strangle Nick Jackson. Yeah. That was kind of funny. And then Joey Janelle comes out, and then we get their match between him and Hangman Page, and it was a Chicago street fight. Oh my god, this was insane. We need a moment to do this. And here's the thing. There was some moments I was wondering from the commentators, like, you better not say that in Chicago. Like, they kept referencing how Hangman is a murderer, how he should be locked up, and how he just killed someone, and how he will kill again, and he seems like he's hinting to that route, and I'm thinking like, Chicago's not the best place to say this, man. Like, for various reasons. Like the high crime rate. Dude, I think you should stop. And no, they still went with it. I'll be amazed if there's no controversy from this. And then we even get some intergender wrestling in here. You see, when during the matchup, when Joey Janelle was getting basically his ass handed to him by Hangman Page, his I don't know who she was. Ford, her last name was Penelope Ford. I could be wrong. I don't know. But yeah. It gets really crazy. Like, she goes ahead, does a stunner, and they reference Stone Cold's trademark. Oh, hell yeah! And then she... And then she did all these weird evasions, like bending her back like Bray Wyatt and whatnot. Like... Oh, man. Like, can we have her fight Candice LeRae? No, we can't? Okay. And she does a diving crossbody to the floor, and Shay does. She sets up him on the table that was played, and Joey Ryan hits a diving elbow drop through both Page and the table. Yeah, during this match, we get a fallaway slam into a steel chair. We get a buckshot lariat. We get a water slide through the ladder. And Heyman even brings a body bag into the ring. Yeah. Yeah, and then during the match, okay, so as they fight, Janelle takes a huge run up and wipes it out with a lariat, comparing it to a Great Muta versus Hulk Hogan or something. I don't know. And then Penelope whatever. Ford brings another table over and they set it up at the entrance under the steps. And Hangman Page then powerbombs him off the table into the edge of the table. Then Adam Page does a buckshot lariat, rites of passage, and Ford breaks it up. And Ford then brings another body bag, and it's dumped out and it's revealed to be the Cursed Boots from Being the Elite's Nightmare sequence. And in his state of insanity, Hangman actually super kicks her. Oh boy, the amount of triggered feminists everywhere. I mean the bad ones, not the good ones. They're cool. And Janelle actually gets time to get a near fall with a super kick, also hitting the boot, so that must have been hilarious. And then they get another ladder. Then Janelle gets another ladder, goes under the ring, and oh boy, I want to talk about the post-match sequence. I don't want to say, I can't say it yet. Yeah, so anyways, he sets the ladder on the table before setting Adam on the table, climbing up the ladder, but then Hangman cuts him off and gets the phone he killed Joey Ryan with, and hammers Joey Janelle on the head with it and wraps the cord around his neck. Rite of passage off the ladder through the table, and it's over. Also, they got a sponsor to make a cameo appearance as a weapon, so at least the sponsors actually made a contributeness. So that's a first. Way to go! So moving on. The lights go out and we see the bloody Joey Ryan in the old Being the Elite episode lying down somewhere, and then his signature thing starts to stand up. The lights come back on, and then we get an Undertaker-esque that makes me want to say, oh god, I wonder how Mark Calloway felt when he sees this. Because a bunch of dudes in phallus costumes come out, taking positions on either side of the entryway. Joey Ryan lives! He gets in the rings, oils himself up, and while Paige looks on in utter shock saying, I killed you! I killed you! And yeah, he blocks a punch. Joey Ryan blocks a punch from Hangman Page and puts Hangman's head on his phallus and does his signature superplex maneuver. A super kick follows. Joey rolls Adam into the waiting arms of the phallus people, who carry him out in a sacrificial way. You cannot make this up. Okay, so let's see if I get this straight. We get this emotional, heartfelt moment between the son of Dusty Rhodes, Cody, winning the NWA Championship, and I am demanding that someone commissions, someone makes an artwork of Dusty Rhodes smiling down on Cody, or even go ahead and make a spiritual image of Dusty placing a hand on Cody's shoulder. Do it. So yeah, yeah, and then we get this insanity, and I'm just thinking, oh my god, Jim Cornette's gotta be pissed. Like, it was bad enough for him at least that this happened on small shows. This happened on national on pay-per-view, on Honor Club, on New Japan World, on Fight TV. And he's going to have to live with that fact it's now in the annals of history. But he's ranting on Twitter right now, isn't he? And then we get to Jay Lethal versus Flip Gordon. And they go crazy. Jay Lethal looks like he's going crazy when someone hands him a pair of glasses that seem strangely familiar, slaps his back and fires him up. And he makes his entrance wearing Randy Savage's coats and accompanied by his brother Lanny Poffo. By God, what have we created? And yeah, it turns out this is actually a popular gimmick Jay Lethal did a lot, including on being the Elite. I didn't know about that. Black Macho is Ismo, I don't know. But like, Flip Gordon and Jay Lethal, they kind of had an awesome match. And then we get even crazier with this matchup. Like, this match is like paying respects to wrestling's past, including to a person who doesn't deserve to be respected for a variety of reasons, like calling people crybabies because they complain about the power going out and people dying in the hurricane disaster. Oh wait, Hulk Hogan's just being an asshole. And yeah, like there's like Jay Lethal goes all Macho Man Randy Savage. Ooh yeah. And carries Cody's wife, who accompanied Flip Gordon around like Macho did for Elizabeth. And yeah, and then Jay Lethal goes ahead, does three elbow drops, going all Ultimate Warrior Randy Savage sequence from WrestleMania many years ago. And some consider that to be Warrior's best match. And Flip kicks out, and Flip goes ahead and gets all, and then like he gets all hulked up and whatnot, the crowd even knows what's going on. And they scream out "You" and whatnot, and yeah, he does Hulk Hogan's mannerisms, and then we get more evasions, and when Jay Lethal tries to go ahead and stop it, and then we get a springboard sling blade up top, nobody home, lands on his feet, fireman's carry, and yet Jay Lethal's still kicked out, and then Jay Lethal blocks it with an avalanche Frankensteiner, blocks the avalanche Frankensteiner, Flips, gets out of it, adjusts, and then he gets put away with the lethal injection, retain the ROH championship. And I was actually kind of mad a little bit. I actually wanted Flip Gordon to win. I generally wanted him to win this match. This was an eye-opening for me. I might go into his match with Nick Aldis when I'm at the time in a later video. But Lethal and Gordon are good sports. They're adhering to the code of honor. But Bully Ray comes down, clobbers them with a double clothesline and beats up on Flip with a chain. Lanny tries to make the save, and then gets the when Bully kicks him in his privates and his sacred jewels. And it's under the ring for table, and Colt Cabana makes a save. Jay and Flip hoist him up. Shades of the Shield and triple power bomb. Now they just need to do the shield pose, and then they will have the shield on their backs. So, yeah. And here's the thing. That was the undercard. We have a triple threat main event going on. First up, Kenny Omega versus Pentagon Jr. And I was surprised this wasn't for the IWGP Championship. That would have actually been interesting. And then Kenny Omega and Pentagon Jr. does his Cero Miedo, Zero Fear. And then Kenny Omega's like, I am not amused, and shoves Pentagon Jr. Don't do it, Kenny. You're risking a death sentence. He takes his glove off, throws it at referee Paul Turner before doing the handstand again, and then gets slapped in the face. Kenny is not amused. And then they go crazy. Oh my god, and I heard this was the first time ever match between the two. They met once in a tag team match, but they never fought each other in a singles match. Oh god. This was awesome! Because this This was insane. This match was insane, man. And we get flips, kicks, V-triggers. And every time I hear that crack when the V-trigger, I'm just like, oh, man. But then they top that moment with Pentagon Jr. doing the package pile driver on the apron side. I'm surprised Kenny's still alive now. So, yeah. And it was, oh my god, this match was awesome. And Pentagon Jr. does his arm breaking maneuver. And I honestly kind of wanted Pentagon Jr. to win. I knew he wasn't going to because it's Kenny Omega, but I just wanted Pentagon Jr. to actually win this match. And then we get this moment, and it's all awesome. It's just, this match was awesome. It was like, 17 minutes and 47 seconds. I thought it was actually over 20 minutes, a little over 20. Hangman Page and Joey Janelle was 20 minutes. And then after the match is over, the lights, when Kenny Omega gets the win with the one-wing angel, and here's the thing. When there was an awesome moment, Pentagon Jr. was repeatedly saying, "Zero Muerto!" when Kenny Omega kept launching kick and V-triggers after him, and he just kept getting back up and saying, "Zero Muerto!" And, yeah. Yeah, it was a pretty awesome match. And then the lights go out, and we all expect something crazy to happen. They come back on, Pentagon Jr. rises from the grave and attacks Kenny, and then we see the code breaker, and I was like, oh no. No, they didn't. He did not really just do that. He takes out the mask, it's Chris Jericho! And he strips the Pentagon Jr. gear off to the waist and hits another code breaker. He gets on his microphone and tells Kenny, "I'll see you on my cruise." Really, someone on Twitter pointed out that Chris Jericho said, "I have zero fear to put you on the list." And then Y2J, being the absolute asshole heel that he is, goes to commentary and knocks Don Cyrus Callis down. Again. Yeah, here's the thing about this. While it was cool, I kind of wanted someone else to attack Kenny Omega. I wanted Neville to be the one that attacks Kenny Omega. Why? Because Neville's a free man. He's free. He gets to go somewhere. He gets to wrestle elsewhere now because he's no longer oppressed by the machine that is WWE. And yeah, that was pretty awesome. That would have been pretty awesome. Imagine it. Neville comes out, beats the crap out of Neville in disguise as Pentagon Jr., takes off his mask, reveals Neville with a snarling face on him, and he goes ahead. And if Kenny Omega had brought the IWGP title to the show, I would have loved if he held the title up, signaling, "I'm coming for you." And basically giving the middle finger to Vince by basically saying, "I am not a Crusade! I am the best wrestler of the United Kingdom!" Yeah, that would have been freaking awesome. And yeah, I felt like that was a really missed opportunity there. That would have been awesome. Really, really awesome. Sadly, he does not show up at the show, unfortunately. So, anyways, now we get to Kazuchika Okada versus Marty Scurll, and when you're hearing that this match is actually the better match than Kenny Omega and Pentagon Jr., you know you're succeeding in something. Like, yeah, I kept hearing that a lot. Like, I thought all the matches were great. Like, it'd be pretty hard to try and say, no, which match do we say? Do we say this match was great? No. Does this match great? And I'll just say what Asuka said. All of them! So, Kazuchika Okada and Marty Scurll. Oh, boy. Oh god. Oh god, this was hilariously. This was just awesome. Awesome, man. I really loved every moment of this match. I was on the edge of my seat. I wanted Marty Scurll to win. It would have helped more in Kazuchika Okada's downward spiral moment, since he's been having that since since he lost the IWGP title, which honestly is a very, very, very great thing to tell a story of a guy who's been on top and now it's being realized you're not on top anymore. So anyways, so Kazuchika Okada and Marty Scurll was phenomenal. It was awesome. I loved every moment of it. We got the finger breakings from Marty Scurll. We got him even hitting the Rainmaker on Kazuchika Okada for a near fall after he struck Okada with the umbrella. And I knew that was going to lead to rain, to the villain for the umbrella to stop the rain. Yeah. And then there was a moment where, oh boy, how do I say this? Kazuchika Okada basically did the biggest middle finger on the show. He goes ahead, puts up his fingers, where he says, basically, 205. And then Marty Scurll wrenches the fingers. Oh boy. So yeah, Vince is pissed. But I really hope he is. But Okada manages to connect the discus Rainmaker and gets the pinfall victory. Kazuchika Okada defeats Marty Scurll. This was the surprising factor. I was surprised that Marty Scurll lost. I thought they were still going with that storyline with Okada crossing the psycho level of obsession, like he's not the champion anymore, he's not the top dog, and it's eating away at his psyche. You know, actual character development and vulnerability. Take notes, Vince! You can make Roman be a likable character if you did that kind of storytelling. But you won't, that's too much to ask for. And then I realized, wait, how long has this show been going on? If you add 6, and it was currently at the time 10:30, oh my god, this has been going on for 4 hours. This is going to end at 11. This is a 5-hour show, and I don't feel bored, tired, annoyed, angry, confused, actually excited, feeling energy flowing through me, and yeah, that's saying something. And then we get our main event. Brandido, Rey Fenix, Pentagon Jr.'s brother, Rey Mysterio versus Golden Elite, Kota Ibushi, and the Young Bucks. A lot of people knew at this moment that, yeah, this isn't going to be a very slow matchup. This is going to be high, intense, fast-paced because they got crunch time. And oh my god, they somehow worked with it. Like, this main event was like, what, 11 minutes and what seconds long? It was, let me see. Oh, it was less than 12 minutes. Yeah, 11 minutes and 48 seconds. That should say something. They worked a 6-man tag team match with high-flying, off, like, on your feet, adrenaline-pumping action within less than 12 minutes because they had to end the show. And a lot of people were saying on TV, on Twitter, that Brandido was acting different. I never seen this guy, so I don't know who it is. But a lot of people were saying that, was that Neville? Is that Neville? Is he in disguise? And I wasn't sure, like why would that be Neville? Like, a lot of people kept saying they saw his ears and whatnot, and said that it might be him, and I don't know. So, I don't know if that was Neville. I'm not going into that until we find out later storylines, because there's going to be a lot of fallout from this. But, yeah. And, yeah, ultimately, Bandito actually takes the fall for the Golden Elite to win. And I was surprised by that. I thought Rey Mysterio, since this was going to be his last independent wrestling match, because he's actually going to WWE, because WWE was trying to get him off the show to come to try and weaken the show because pettiness and vindictiveness. But Rey Mysterio was like, no, I'll sign, but I'm doing the show. And I bet Vince was left no choice on that. Like, if he leaves, then whatnot, they're going to be pissed off. So after that match, the show immediately cuts out when it hit 11. So, yeah, they were like, okay, we got the match done. We got cut off. And that means we might get the extended ending part with the speech that Cody did later on sometime. So, yeah, oh my god, this show was freaking amazing. It was probably the best show this year that wasn't an NXT TakeOver event. And this was a 5-hour show, and I loved every moment of it. And yeah, this match was pretty emotional and whatnot for a lot of people. Like, Cody and the Young Bucks are coming out giving a speech. Apparently, I heard that saying there's a hunger, there's a thirst. You guys want good pro wrestling. And then Matt comes out and says, do you want more of this? And the crowd's chanting, all in two! All in two! And yeah, and then they say this, that okay, as much as they're saying this was an anti-WWE, they had to have been a little anti-WWE on this. They say this, no man, no company owns pro wrestling. We own pro wrestling. We, the people. Though they die, the resistance lives on. So, yeah. If they were allowed to go a little bit over time, I actually would have been alright with that if they did the speech segment. And I would have been interested if Bandito was Neville. That would have actually been pretty freaking awesome. Have him come out and attack Cody or Kenny Omega. That honestly would have really been a crazy moment. But, yeah. Also, Rey Mysterio was dressed up like Wolverine. And was that on the entire show. Ooh boy. So, All In had basically, let me see if I can quote this guy from the WCW documentary, from the WCW Rise and Fall documentary that they released many years ago, where they took the age-old storyline concepts of big versus small, good versus evil, comedy. Well, it's not a quote, I'm just referencing certain elements. Like, you got emotional, heartfelt drama, comedy, big versus small, classical storytelling, underdog storytelling, crazy storytelling going on. All this, honor, legacy, honoring the past, present, and future of wrestling. Sorry, I keep trying to say WWE. It's just I've been watching WWE so much, that kind of happens. So, honoring the future of the past, present, and future of pro wrestling. And kind of basically saying, we don't need just WWE. There couldn't be other places to go to. And they slammed the whole thing together, and it was amazing. Every moment of the show was amazing. I credit Cody and the Young Bucks for putting on possibly the best show in a long time in any wrestling event. You got all these elements of storytelling and of character, of growth, of all these great moments of surprises, of chaos going around, even going hardcore with the Chicago street fight. It's just, if WWE let their talent do that, like NXT lets their talent do that, people wouldn't complain about a 3-hour Raw or a 5-hour, 6-hour pay-per-view event. If WWE did this, if WWE was allowed their talent to go all out, express more creativity, and wasn't creatively bankrupted. And that's why this was fun. All In was a refresher for so many people. It was so refreshing to see a wrestling show where the talent looks like they're actually having fun and not being manufactured to have fun. Like, they're being organic, they're being themselves. And that's why I don't want a lot of these guys to go to WWE, because, yeah, they'll have fun in NXT, because NXT is the definition of fun a lot. But once they're called up, they're either 205 Live NXT guys, which will be fun because they're allowed to showcase their abilities more. But on the main roster, like guys like Pentagon Jr., Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, what are they going to do? What are they going to amount to Vince's ideology? He could make them stars, but could is different from saying he will. So, yeah. And really, there was reports going around that he was trying to get the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega to join before All In. He doesn't care about these guys. He just wants them out of All In so he can weaken the show. That's why he blocked the G1 Supercard event that failed miserably, and now they have a sold-out arena at Madison Square Garden because basically, well, the fans wanted to bite back at Vince. Like, hey, you don't want this show? Well, we do. We're going to tell you to fuck off. And Kota Ibushi and Mysterio was pretty freaking awesome. They said this was their first time ever interacting together. And I was like, really? They never interacted before in the ring? Well, they have such great chemistry. It sucks that Mysterio's going back to WWE now. Like, you got all these fantastical elements of everything fans love about pro wrestling smashed together. Honor the past, present, and future of wrestling, and pay tribute to legends come and gone to showcase the present and the future talent of the industry, the future franchise players, the present franchise players. And this was just all from a tweet by Dave Meltzer saying, "I don't think no one can make 10,000 tickets yet." Cody took that bet. He and the Young Bucks won it, made a self-funded event, got everything down right. And I hope we get an All In too. But that's later. We're here now. All In was pretty phenomenal. This felt like a WrestleMania. It felt like a WrestleMania I haven't seen in a long time, where you actually get a lot of great matches, not just plain up filler, and actually get emotion out of it and excitement. I loved every moment of it. So those were my thoughts on All In. This was Neo Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate. Stay tuned for more. And thank you, Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks.